Today, we're diving into some of the most controversial political claims that have been making waves online, from accusations that Vice President Kamala Harris faked a massive rally crowd to alarming claims that non-citizens are being allowed to vote in our elections. We're here to separate fact from fiction. We'll also delve into some wild rumors about former President Trump's campaign travel and a bizarre claim involving Laura Trump and Celine Dion. But that's not all. We'll look back at some historical political rumors that rock the nation and see how these modern myths fit into a larger pattern of misinformation. This is an episode you don't want to miss. So let's get into it. Let's start with a story that has caught a lot of attention recently. The claim that Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz faked a crowd at a Michigan rally using AI. Former President Trump and other social media users have shared posts suggesting Harris needed to artificially create support by generating a crowd with AI. But let's take a closer look at what actually happened. On August 7th, Harris and Walz arrived in Michigan for a rally. The event was covered extensively by both national and local media, with plenty of footage showing the crowd that greeted them. Harris's campaign reported that 15,000 people attended the rally, and this number has been backed up by multiple sources, including C-SPAN and local news outlets like the Detroit Free Press. But why are some people claiming the crowd was faked? This isn't the first time political rallies have been accused of using digital tricks to inflate their support. Let's rewind to 2016, during the presidential campaign when similar rumors surfaced about Donald Trump's rally. Back then, some critics suggested that Trump's campaign used manipulated images or even hired actors to boost crowd numbers. These claims, much like those against Harris, were debunked as the result of misunderstanding and sometimes intentional distortion of facts. The idea that Harris needed to rely on AI to create support is not only misleading, but also undermines the enthusiasm and turnout of the people who actually attended. Experts have explained that any perceived issues with reflections on the plane, which some have used to suggest a fake crowd, are simply due to the curvature of the plane and the type of lens used. The bottom line, the crowd was real, and the claims that it was AI generated are simply false. Let's dig a little deeper into the psychology behind why such claims are so easy to believe and spread. Historically, when people are confronted with something that doesn't align with their beliefs, there's a tendency to seek out information that confirms their suspicions, no matter how far-fetched it may be. This is known as confirmation bias, and it's been at play in politics for decades. From the fake moon landing rumors of the 1960s to claims about Obama's birth certificate in the 2000s, history shows us that once a false narrative takes hold, it can be incredibly difficult to dislodge, no matter how much evidence is presented to the contrary. Now, let's talk about another claim that's been stirring up a lot of concern. The idea that non-citizens are being allowed to vote in federal elections, thanks to actions by President Biden and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. This claim has been gaining traction online, particularly in the lead-up to the 2024 elections. But let's break down what's really happening. First off, non-citizen voting in federal elections is illegal, and that has not changed. The claim that President Biden is cheating by opposing the SAVE Act, a bill that would require proof of citizens to vote, ignores the fact that current laws already prohibit non-citizens from voting. The SAVE Act, which was passed by the Republican-led House, is unlikely to pass in the next Democrat-controlled Senate. And even if it were vetoed by Biden, it wouldn't change the existing laws that prevent non-citizens from voting. To give this some historical context, let's remember in The 2008-2012 elections, where similar claims of voter fraud were rampant, back then the focus was often on accusations that dead people were voting or that ineligible voters were being bussed in from out of state. These stories, often spread by partisan groups, were thoroughly investigated and found to be mostly unfounded. Yet the idea that millions of fraudulent votes were being cast persisted in the public consciousness, influencing voter ID laws and election security measures in subsequent years. In Minnesota, where Governor Walz has introduced automatic voter registration, there's a misconception that this could be leading to non-citizens voting, but the state has built-in safeguards to prevent this. When someone registers to vote in Minnesota, their citizenship status is verified through official documents before they're added to the voter rolls. This process is designed to ensure that only eligible citizens can vote. And let's not forget the famous 2016 case in Texas where rumors spread that non-citizens were voting en masse due to automatic registration laws. Investigations found that while there were isolated incidents of ineligible voters attempting to register, these were not part of any widespread effort, and most were due to confusion rather than fraud. This is a pattern where we see repeated over and over. These small incidents are blown up into major scandals by those looking to discredit the electoral process. This brings us to the bigger picture, the importance of protecting the integrity of our elections, while also avoiding the spread of misinformation. Claims that millions of non-citizens are voting are not only unsupported by evidence, but also distract from the real work that needs to be done to ensure fair and secure elections. Now, let's turn our attention to former President Trump and a recent rumor that's been making the rounds. According to some social media posts, Trump's plane was diverted from Bozeman, Montana to Billings because he owed the Bozeman airport $12,000 from a previous campaign visit. But as is often the case with these viral claims, the truth is a bit more mundane. On August 9th, Donald Trump was on his way to a campaign rally in Bozeman when his flight encountered a mechanical issue. As a result, the plane was diverted to Billings, which is more than 125 miles east of Bozeman. After landing, Trump didn't drive to Bozeman, as some reports have claimed. Instead, he chartered another flight to get there. But this isn't the first time financial rumors have swirled around a political figure. Back in 1992, during Bill Clinton's presidential campaign, rumors spread that he and his campaign were dodging hotel bills across the country. These stories, which were largely untrue, were part of a broader strategy by opponents to paint Clinton as financially irresponsible and untrustworthy. Just like the Trump rumor, these claims were amplified by partisan media and spread quickly, despite being debunked. So, where did the $12,000 claim come from? It turns out that Missoula County, Montana did invoice Trump's campaign for $12,922.82 in 2018 to cover security costs for a visit he made that year. However, this invoice has nothing to do with the recent flight diversion. Bozeman airport officials have confirmed that Trump's campaign does not owe them any money, and the diversion was purely due to mechanical issues, not unpaid bills. This example also ties into a broader historical pattern where financial controversies, whether real or fabricated, are used to discredit political figures. It's a tactic that has been used for decades. From accusations that Herbert Hoover profited from the Great Depression to more recent controversies surrounding Hillary Clinton's speaking fees. The key takeaway is that while financial scandals can be legitimate, they're also a common tool for spreading misinformation. Finally, let's talk about a claim involving Laura Trump. the daughter-in-law of former President Trump, and a quote supposedly related to Celine Dion and the song My Heart Will Go On from Titanic. According to a viral post, Laura Trump allegedly said, "No one can stop this Titanic," in response to Dion objecting to her song being used at a Trump rally. But is there any truth to this? In short, no. The quote attributed to Laura Trump is completely fabricated. It originated from a satirical social media account known for posting humorous and often exaggerated content. Unfortunately, this quote was taken out of context and spread as if it were a real statement. The RNC has confirmed that Laura Trump never made this comment, and there is no credible news source that supports the claim. This isn't the first time a satirical post has been mistaken for real news. Back in 2014, a satirical article claimed that Sarah Palin had joined the cast of The View to promote a new reality show. Despite the article's clear humorous intent, it was picked up by several mainstream outlets as a legitimate news story, showcasing just how easily satire can be misconstrued. This is a classic example of what's known as stolen satire, where a satirical post is taken seriously by others and shared as factual news. It is a reminder that not everything we see online is what it appears to be, and it's essential to verify the source and the context before believing or sharing such claims. So, there you have it. 4 major political claims, all debunked with facts, and a look at how these myths fit into a broader historical context of misinformation. In a world where rumors can spread like wildfire, it's more important than ever to stay informed and critical of the news we consume. We'll be following these developments closely, so stay tuned for all the latest updates.